This is by no means the recommended way to do this. If you're gonna attempt at your own risk. You should be okay, but I just gotta put that out there. I like it. Woo! All right, so I'm in the shop here working on all these bikes. All the while, I just cannot wait to get my bike started. I've been just staring at these parts, sitting here, all these goodies, and I can't put them on yet, and I'm just itching to get this bike running. But it gave me a really good idea. What is the bare minimum that a bike needs to actually start? I know it needs compression, fuel, and spark, but with the engine that we've got, we know it's got compression, so we need fuel and spark after that. So what if I can mount the engine in the frame, get the electronics hooked up, and then just put some fuel in the carb? Would that work? I don't know. I just want to be able to put it together, see what happens. Could be interesting. But first we got to get this frame mounted onto our stand. And we actually kind of off camera already cleaned this thing up. We'll jump to a couple of videos here of me cleaning it up with the pressure washer out in the wash bay. All right, so if you missed it, here's our engine from our build series. One thing I actually wanted to ask you guys about, these little oil plugs here, sometimes I've seen them where they kind of tear free on this tab, and I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about these? So these are billet, but the blue on them, I know that HRC likes to go with blue, and I like that they have a tab so you don't have to grab a wrench every time that you want to put oil in this thing. But is the blue kind of chintzy? Does it look okay with kind of the rest of the bike? We might not be able to tell until everything is back together again. We'll put these black back on there for now, but let's get this engine back in the frame and then hook up some electronics, see what happens. So last time this gave me a bit of grief trying to come out of here. Let's see if putting it in is any easier. So far, no luck. Let's take the valve cover off. Sometimes that can give you just the clearance you need. There we go. Get our swing arm pivot bolt in there. it's got some compression. All right, that is in the frame. Now, let's hook up our stator. Let's put on our carb because it's got that TPS sensor on it that might throw off our ignition if it's not plugged in. Okay, here we are for the first time. I have absolutely no idea if this is gonna work. Just hold it against that bolt there. Oh, did you guys see it? And we have spark. Awesome. Okay, now we just need to put some fuel in the carb. And ladies and gentlemen, this thing should start. All right. Oh man, that is crazy. Well, it certainly does start and it revs. But do we really need this header though? Did you guys see any flames come out of here? I couldn't tell. Let's take off this header and let's see what kind of results we get from that. Now, if my theory is correct, we should be getting some pretty awesome flames shooting out of this exhaust. This is by no means the recommended way to do this. If you're going to attempt at your own risk. We should be okay, but I just got to put that out there. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I would call that a success. Man, that was awesome. The flame shooting out of there. I've definitely never tried anything like that before. There it is all down here. Man, bare minimum. Now, the frame is kind of the last component. And I don't know enough about electrical to tell you if, do we need the frame? Does it need to be, does it need to ground the engine? What would we need to do if we took the engine out? Would we just need to kind of hook up this wiring harness here? This one bolt is really where the whole system is kind of grounded to the chassis. There's really, I guess you've also got your ignition coil that's down here that's grounded, but can this ground to the engine? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that's even possible. I feel like as soon as you remove that ignition coil or kind of delete the frame out of the equation, it no longer works. So, boy, that was fun. I did notice though that there's a couple items that still need to be cleaned on these. When I was putting these on, these haven't been cleaned before we continue on this assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead, go clean up some items outside. That's just boring, so we'll just skip ahead and then we'll continue putting this backpack together. All right, so we got those parts clean, but for right now, we're actually just gonna pull this steering stem out of the freezer here. Got this nice and cold. That way we can drop on our steering stem bearings. All right, we just got this thing off the barbecue here. Let's put on our dust seal. Ah, damn it. That did not work. All right, back in the freezer she goes. We'll try that one more time. And if not, we'll just have to gently coax it on there. All right, in the meantime, we're gonna get these races pressed in here. Almost had it. All right, a few solid hits later, we got it on there. Now we just gotta cool it down so we can grease it, pack it, and then we'll be ready to install that into our stem. All right, and with that, the engine is officially installed into the frame with all the fasteners torqued to spec. So if you'd like to see how we got to this point, go ahead and click this video right here. Until next time, ride safe and live moto.